Let's go.
Get off my chest, but maybe it's best I keep it a secret. 31st December, the 1st of Jan, same shit, I don't care about the new year. New house somewhere that ain't poverty driven, it's mad in the pit.
Yo, served the pregnant lady, it fucked on my head. Couple things I regret, trying to earn a wage.
What did he say?
Fucked on my head, couple things. Yo, served the pregnant lady, it fucked on my head. Couple things I regret, trying to earn a wage. 48 laws, one book that I read, so if I repent, can I turn the page? Gotta get rid of bad.
He's got a look about him, like that gaunt look, but like really smooth skin. It's like a, because it's like a skeleton, isn't it? Good hair too, nice to have hair.
Bags anti-clockwise, gotta burn the sage. I'll say it with chest, but I know some things locked in, I prefer not to say. I fucked up, I'm admitting it. I got no.
Alright, so is this where every rapper does this? They get really successful and they're bragging about everything they've got, and then they get to a point where they're just like, fucking hell, it's not everything I thought it would be, and I'm not perfect, and I'm not the invincible person that I lied to myself and everybody that I was.
Ego, I got no shame, I swallow my pride and say that I'm missing it. Creep in a changing room at school and tea from the kids that are privileged. Stolen clothes with a rip in it, all sorts.
Yeah, so he's admitting to things he's done that actually he's ashamed of. And it seems like such a common step for artists to go through. It's always that like second album, you know? Like Jack Harlow recently did one. I only listened to it once. I was like, I know this album. I know it. And like, it was good music, to be fair. I will listen to it again, but it was like, I know that part of the journey. When you've done your first one, and it's kind of, I think, was Rick Rubin talking about this the other day on a podcast? You have like your whole life to create the body of work that leads to that first album, and then your second one, everyone's eyes are on you, and you've just had a whole lifestyle change, and all of a sudden it's like, give us another one. And the only way I think that you can really be truthful is by going, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm not that great.
Stolen phone, no sim in it. Now I got P's, I give a lot back. No charity work, trying to write off tax. Feds got me on the driving ban in the passenger seat till my license back. Ghost and fly off the map. Try get my mind off rap. I get some sort of survival.
Try get my mind off rap. he's going through it, man. I don't envy these people in that situation, because their whole self-worth and the whole worth, like the whole like contribution they give to the world is around this music career they've made, and then they're just like overwhelmed by it or like overburdened by it.
I was guilt when I see why I'm still supplying crack. This life don't come with retiring plans, it will come to an end in unfortunate ways. No such thing as positive thinking. When you're locked in, it feel like a maze. Often lose faith and forget to pray.
He has got a good flow. He's got a good flow, and his voice is just so it's so like iconically London.
You don't want to land on the wing with the guys. Why? Cause they might melt your face. Cuz got hit with it 8. Why? Why would he care about some extra days? I don't want to seem ungrateful, God, but I don't want to be here. I got some things to get off my chest, but maybe it's best I keep it.
That's deep. I don't want to seem ungrateful, God, but I don't want to be here. And it's moments like that when you're like, oh, this guy's young, isn't he? Like, poor guy. He's a kid. He's a very successful kid, and he's talented, and he's clearly hardworking, but there's a lot of pressure.
A secret, 31st December, the 1st of Jan, same shit, I don't care about the new year. New house somewhere that ain't poverty driven, it's mad in the place that I grew in. I ain't been home in some weeks, I seek when a man's in need. I got a family tree to feed, I see dead people in my sleep. I see broke people on the feed, talk is cheap. Freedom of speech, I guess what, they ain't even got no peace. Got free Wi-Fi, they ain't got 4G. I wouldn't be able to do what I do if it weren't for the man before me. I show respect where it's due, where would I be if I never met White B?
Yeah, and it seems like this part he's kind of getting into like, he's like paying respect to his elders, so it seems like a level of maturity that's come into this next part of the song, which is, I think, really nicely done actually. Starting off with the story of this like shame, regret, admitting that everything's a bit too much, and then moving into I have to have gratitude for how much I've got and for those that have come before me. I think that's a That's a nice touch.
Gigs, gets, Chip, Skep, Conan, Crep, Kano, Deb, Storms, Huss, Dave, a couple of names, even DBE.
See, I grew up on these a lot. I grew up on them. It's like there's a lot of this new music that I don't, that isn't for, I don't, I'm not a 18-year-old boy full of testosterone that just like wants to like. So those were I grew up on them.
My mum lost faith in her son when I left school with no GCSEs. Told Shorty just cause I grew up with nothing don't mean that I'm easy to please. When you need a handout, you don't get help. Why do you wanna help? I ain't even in need. Had one score for an hour studio time. I couldn't even lease the beat. Do not disturb me when I'm recording.
Yeah, and then he's getting like a bit hype again now, isn't it? He's getting back into his flow. He's starting to feel himself again. He's starting to regain his confidence. This is a nice story, man. This is a really nice story. It's got a proper like character arc for him.
Voice sound clearer than ever. Remember the mic distorting. I grew in a different era. More action, less talking. He said I'm a dead man walking. One in your head, there ain't no respawning. Alright, I don't wanna
Yeah, alright.
seem ungrateful, God, but I don't wanna be here. I got some things to get off my chest, but maybe it's best I keep it a secret. 31st December, the 1st of Jan, same shit, I don't care about the new year. New house somewhere that ain't poverty driven, it's mad in the place that I grew in.
Yeah, really got his confidence back. Yeah. But like when he was like, oh, you'll get one in the head, I'm just going, so have you just gone full circle but haven't actually grown as a person? And you just had a moment where you reflected, but you don't actually hold on to that. And I guess that's just one of the things I have with rap is that like, I think we can all have responsibility over the amount of violence that we preach, but I don't really come from a violent neighborhood. Like, I mean, you know, plenty of violence around, and I'm like 1 degree of separation from it, but I'm not in the same position as a lot of these rappers to really judge them, because I wasn't in their shoes. But I do think, regardless, when you have influence, you have to be able to take a step back and go, all right, how much murder do I want to speak about in my music? Because I know that even though this is a reality for where I grew up and the people that I'm speaking to, does it perpetuate the stereotype and perpetuate the danger that they're living in? Does it make it worse, or does it help? And if you're not helping and you are making it worse, that's some selfish moves, I think. I'll tell you what, that was a good song. I think I had a good story. I was actually quite impressed. I like Central C. Like his first, when he first came out with, how can I be homophobic? It's such a bar, and it was so cheeky because this is clearly not something you can get away with saying now. And he really come out, I was like, I don't give a fuck about that. So I do like him. I think he's good, man.